My name's Gretchen. I'm an alcoholic,
Thank you, Gretchen.
and I'm very suspicious. I don't think it matters how long, how much time someone has. We're all suspects. But I took that from you.
No, it's
You
cool.
could use it. But I I grew up with two brothers, and I was the only girl. I was the baby, and so my brothers, didn't want girls playing with them. So I was pretty much a loner at home. And then my dad moved around on jobs, so we moved like 7 times throughout my whole school years. And so it was a challenge trying to make friends, moving to different places and stuff. And then, right the summer before I got into high school, I started experimenting with alcohol and pot. And I found out that I had a lot of friends, when I got to school, like back in the back parking lot where the smokers were and the stoners were, and these seniors would like round up some money and get a keg going. Then we'd all cut class and go do the keg thing, and that was like my way in of finding friends, is through that party scene, and we moved back to, that was in California in Humboldt County, so those hippie days down there. And then we moved back to Washington here, and I was stuck again, in my 11th year in high school, no friends, and again. And so, it's like I didn't really have to go out and look for the weed or look for the alcohol. Someone just seemed to like come in my path and have the money to buy it and stuff. So I wasn't really responsible working and just enjoyed the party scene and stuff. And so I saw this ad for a waitress, and I like called them up, and they called me in for an interview. And so I went in there, and it was a gentleman's club, and the guy said, we don't have any waitress jobs, but we got some dancing jobs. That's the way they hook people in, and it's like I was desperate enough to get out of the folks' home that I tried it out, and it worked for a little bit, and then it didn't work because I didn't do anything extra other than dancing. And so I ended up getting fired for some reason, and this gal took me out to the bar to drink my blues away, and I had like 5 triple Manhattans, and yeah, blacked out. I remember only a couple times that night, and that was when I was in the back of a cop car. Luckily, I wasn't driving. Um, they took me to detox, and I woke up the next morning. I was scared. I thought it was a jail hospital, and I was freaking out. And I woke up the next morning, and the lady's asking me, "You want to stay another night?" And I'm going, "Eh, I'm good," because in my mind I wanted to go back out and party some more, and it's like you know, and so it wasn't but a few years after that where I just felt crazy inside, and I have a cousin that's manic depressive, and I kept telling my mom I think I'm manic depressive, and so my aunt told her, well, take her to call the crisis clinic. So she called the crisis clinic, and we went to Renton Hospital, and I sat, and they gave me a questionnaire, and I answered the questionnaire honestly, of how much you drank, what kind of drugs did you take, yada yada. And and I told the lady I think I'm manic depressive, and she goes, we can't diagnose you until you've been clean and sober for 6 months. And so my first meeting was at Cedar Hills, and I kept seeing this gal look over at me, and I kept looking over at her. And at the end of the meeting, she walked up to me and gave me her phone number. And I was there with this guy, and in fact, later, like a few months down the road, when me and Lara decided to have a little drinky poo, um, we went to that guy's house, and he's actually in the program now. He's got 16 years. It's awesome. But before that, anyway, so I hung around. I think I got hung around a long time through the fellowship, and then I thought at 9 years and 11 months I thought it was a cool idea to go smoke some pot, and so I did, and my mind was going, well, you already screwed up, so you might as well just have a drink, and so I had a drink, and then that led to some other psycho drugs that I never tried before, and went down a really harsh hill. And at that time, my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and so she went through like 3 different operations. She never got well, and she ended up passing away. And so like the my spiral went even down further because I blamed myself a lot for her sickness. So anyway, I ended up having a religious experience or a spiritual experience, um, and came back to AA eventually, and was kind of like a Jesus freak, and I was like I was mental. I remember going to this church, and the pastor would say, God wants you to come up to the altar and speak out your prayers, speak out loud. And I swear they had microphones in that altar there, the steps. And so I was not going to do that. But, that's how far I was, in my mental state. And anyway, yeah, since then, it's taken me a number of years of going back to this idea of being delivered. And yeah, I can have a couple drinks here and there, because that's what the church folk say, the evangelist or whatever. And so, like, I'm not putting down the church because they've helped a lot of people out, but it's like this is where my mind went with that. And I finally got to a point where I had to smash that illusion that I could drink like other people, because I every time I drank, it was like it kept going. I couldn't have just one or two. I had to keep going, and so I came back to the program like 3 years clean and sober, and I had been in an abusive marriage, so that was another thing. That I've had to deal with is post traumatic stress disorder from that, and the staying clean and sober. This one point in my work, I deliver those goodies out there, and I was delivering to this grocery store, and there was this. I was coming out to the truck, and there was this little baggie laying on the ground, and it was my psychosomatic drug that I used to do back then, and I looked at that, and it's like this thing, and just inside of me, I could tell was trying to wake up and say yada yada, yada. And I'm going no, and I just got rid of that baggie so no one else could do it, and I just that is not. I look at that action that I did, and it was like that action was not me. That action was a higher power, for sure, because I was alone by myself, and it's like it says in the big book, that there be a time where there'd be only one thing that comes between you and a drink, and that is a higher power, God Himself. And I believe that was a God point right there for me when I and that was recent. I was just going, ew, you know, just that uh, running from that hot flame, you know. Um, I had moved to South Carolina for a couple years, 2017 to 2019, and um, I remember walking around with this one gal at this street fair for Fourth of July, and I was seeing people drinking and stuff, and I was thinking to myself, "Damn!" I was like, "Could, could you?" I was talking to myself in my head. Could you imagine drinking down here? There's no family, no people that you know have known for years, you know, and you're just fresh in the area, you know, making friends. And it's like, I was just like so grateful that, because there was that one time when I was driving across, there was that thought in the head that says, oh, you can just stop at this hotel and get a bottle and have a drink. No one will know. And I'm going, yeah, someone will know. Me. I'll know. And I dealt with shame long enough, and shame is a liar. And I like that song. Ain't no grave gonna hold this body down, you know. And so I haven't done the AA thing the way some of these new people have. I'm just like, I kind of sit back and, and do this, but you know, I'm just trudging along, you know, and I'm grateful that I'm sober, and I keep going to meetings. I keep hanging around people that are sober and clean. And dang, I got 2 more minutes. Well, I guess this is a story. When I went back to relapse, I went and met that guy that we had to, because I wanted to party, you know, find some weed that not get ripped off. And he was telling me, he says, you know, that one dude, he started a practice pad in West Seattle. And he's telling me he partied with all these alternative bands, you know, in the early 90s when they were just coming out and stuff. And it's like, I think to myself, damn, if I wouldn't have found AA, I would have been right there in that scene. And who knows what else I would have gotten myself into. So AA hasn't just saved my ass, it has saved my life, because I could see myself being another statistic, you know, out there ODing or, you know, drinking my liver to death. And I'm just so thankful for AA. Thank you.
Thank you, Gretchen.